Доброго дня, шановні.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. Welcome those who join us in this hall and watch online. We're going to start our press event. The topic of the next press briefing is dedicated to a press conference on the protection of Prypiat and the rights of the residents. Olena Pantsiuk, journalist, activist, founder of civil initiative Protectors of Prypiat. Valentyna Retunska, respondent of Chernobyl disaster in 1986. Oleksandr Syrota, head of Prypiat.com, resident of Prypiat. Tetyana Lukina, head of the union Chernobyl. Children of Chernobyl, and activists who support residents of Prypiat and their rights. Welcome. You're on the floor. I'm going to start this meeting. You know, I'm really glad to see Prypiat residents at the end of December. Maybe you remember, people like me remember that at the end of December in Energetic Club, we held some New Year events. Children performed and residents of Prypiat applauded, and I performed in this theater. And for me, I really like to see happy eyes of Prypiat residents. And this people's initiative, civil initiative, we believe that Prypiat residents, they cried enough, and now they should be happy. Unfortunately, half of residents of Prypiat died, and we are those who remained, we are happy people. We have forced to survive and to not only fight the looters, but also fight against those who try to forget about Prypiat. So this is a rare album. You know that first they didn't allow us to come to Prypiat. We went there only in November when the reactor was destroyed. And I asked my father, please bring my album from there, and this is a rare album from Prypiat, and this is the most important for me. This is my memory. Now this city is called the city of dead, but I say ask those who are alive. These people continue their lives, and Prypiat is our history. And vandals, if they watch us now, I would like to ask them, people, our parents, those who fought with this nuclear monster, if not them, we won't survive, all of us. And I saw one poster. It said that you should be thankful to ATO soldiers that they fight, and due to them you may continue your life. But I would like to thank our parents, and there are different colors on our houses. Maybe this is LGBT or something, I don't know. But you know that our city, it was looted. Material things, they are not so important, but we won't allow to destroy the memory, to go on the bones of those heroes who saved the world. And I would like to ask Oleksandr. Oleksandr, from the very first days, he responded, and as a journalist, as a mother, I did my course, and Oleksandr, he defended Prypiat, and I would like to ask him why there is such vandalism after 33 years. from the first days. No, I was too little at that time. I returned to Prypiat in 1992, and I started to work actively starting 1996. Why now? All this is going on not for 1, 2, or even 10 years. This place is more known now as a tourism destination, and some people like to go to the zone illegally, so critical mass of such people increases. It becomes more and more, and there is low responsibility, lack of responsibility for this violation. And it results in the fact that these people now they are in the zone illegally, and they conflict with those people who are there legally, and there are some physical attacks with the use of gas, and also there are threats from those people who are illegal there. And this phenomenon is ignored by those who should take decisions. They say that children go there and there is no harm, and even judges say so. Those who provide decisions on the cases of illegal penetration. But we know that these are not children. And this is an acute issue. They declared war to our city, and we should do something about it. And if it's war, this is not something minor. It's not hooliganism. Maybe they want to bring some message to organizers of excursions. To whom is this message for? Those people who are involved in this spoiling of memory of Prypiat. I invited them through Facebook to tell us why they do so. Is there any sense, deep sense in this? Maybe they watch, but they won't come. But we would like to know the answer. I cannot tell for them. I cannot go to their head and find their ideas, unfortunately. I have people, I know them, they go to the zone for tens of years illegally. And the majority of these people, if I communicate with them, I respect them. No one knows about them. They do not write posts about New Year celebrations in Prypiat when some people just commit some ugly actions. Those people who vandalize the city, for example, by dumping toilet bowls out of the windows of those buildings. We should find adequate measures how to fight this vandalism. We should speak about the structure, state structure, the agency that manages this area. It should respond. This agency, among the tasks of this agency, there is no such thing as protection of Prypiat as a city, because now the city officially does not exist. Unfortunately, it is not even a monument. Even Stella is not considered as a monument because it is not registered as a monument. It is only a monument for those who live there, who understand, who care. But for them, this is only a block of a concrete block. And the agency, during the last several years, there appear some attempts in the right direction to consider this place, because the zone started to earn on tourism and Prypiat became popular in the world, and a working group was created at the agency that manages exclusion zone and to consider future status. It was created in 2017, and this working group unfortunately had only 2 meetings, and we do not know why the activity was suspended, but I hope that the agency would get new management and this question will be raised once again because the status is really needed. Vandalism is possible in Prypiat because this city is not protected legally. Because this is not a city, if we consider its current status, this is just pile up of some ruins. For us, this is a city and our memory. But legally, it is an open source of radioactive wastes. Okay. I know you, Tetyana, also dealt with the list of residents of Prypiat to establish the exact number who are still alive, those who were evacuated, the absence of the status of Prypiat as a city. Do you remember that we were all called Chernobylцы? Our children were called Svitlячки. They were called Svitlячки because they got high doses of radiation. Yeah, we suffered from Chernobyl, but when we were evacuated, I was a child. I respect Chernobyl. This is an ancient city. And of course, it was founded really long ago, but we are people from Prypiat. We are not from Chernobyl. We should not be considered as people from Chernobyl. So we were all mixed up. But first, these are liquidators in legislation, and then those who were evacuated. About 49,500 were evacuated. About 17,000 children were evacuated from there. And we were pregnant women with the babies. We were sent to a sanatorium that was called Ukraine, and we tried to fight for Prypiat, but unfortunately it happened so that we lacked forces at that time. Then I organized the organization that was called Children of Chernobyl. This was one of the first organizations like this, and you know that I was asked to go to KGB, and I also had some problems, and I worked with humanitarian aid, and I then was sent to KGB, and they said, we cannot send you to prison, but we can send you to psychiatrist hospital. And I had 2 children, and my child suffered from sarcoma, from cancer, and we first were in Desnyansky region, then in Kharkivsky region, and then in other regions, and we raised our organization. We had a lot of people in the whole of school 1270, and we had all representatives of the ministries. We raised this topic, and Ukraine started to get medical assistance and send children for treatment. But unfortunately, our name maybe was not right. Children of Chernobyl. We should mention Prypiat. It has historic value. Maybe it won't be looted. Those people who go there, maybe they would see our young guys out, 17 children, 2/3 died. This is my data. And this is data from 17 cities of Ukraine. And in the Ministry of Social Policy, they do not have the register of those who were evacuated from Prypiat. There are many people who work in the social services, but they do not think about it. And I'm trying to convince people during many years that I want to know how many people survived, those who liquidated Chernobyl, they do not have proper status. And those people who, I know that some of people who didn't contribute so much, they got higher pensions than those who were liquidators. And my husband is quietly dying now. This is our pain, and in each family we have this pain. And he is the only member of his team who is still alive. If you go to my house, there is no proper repair. There is no we do not have proper housing conditions. Sorry for my tears. And some people just got everything, but they didn't contribute. And I went to Prypiat, and the only thing is in my flat, there is only piano. Everything is taken out. But this is my home, and we, residents of Prypiat, we return home at night in our dreams. We remember our happy youth. And those guys who go there and vandalize, if they meet those mothers who buried their kids, and my neighbor buried her daughter at 25 and her son at 35, but there are no registers. It is impossible to prove it. We cannot protect our children. In Japan, they use free medical help. 4 operations were done on me because I suffer from cancer. I survived. I live. It is hard living, but I continue living. And my daughter suffered from sarcoma, and she suffered from this type of cancer, and she is disabled now. And some people, they are not disabled, but they get these pensions, and people do not like me because I raise heavy, hard questions. So people call me when they face some problems. They call because they have nowhere to call. Everyone ignores us in all organizations. Tetyana, I would like to say that before our briefing, I said that it's enough. We should not cry. And we have an address, we prepare it, and we want to require the creation of such list. Out of 18 cities, we know about 12,000 remain from those people who are from Prypiat, those who were evacuated from Prypiat. So they just wait when people just die. But, you know, I believe that in our country we are building civil society, and we are community, we are residents of Prypiat. Let's try to do this. Of course, it is really difficult. But now we have a new president, and there are declarations that we build civil society. Now we have global targets of UNO, and we today we should have had the representative, international representative. No, I won't stop. I will continue. We cannot just leave our Prypiat and residents of Prypiat. If we rise all together, those who are here today, we will discuss our declaration, and we will sign it, and we will do it later on off records. We cannot hear you, sorry. Use the mic. I do not hear him. He is speaking without the mic. I am Ukrainian, but when I see that monuments to Jews, they are vandalized, I become really concerned. I ask, why do you do this? What are you going to prove by this? Dear guests, all questions will be other speeches. In the civilized world, there should not be any vandalism. If those who vandalize do not care about the tears and buried children, what do you want to ask? What do you want to know? So our children, they suffered high doses of radiation, more than 18. Official data. And I went through the city, and I have an official document on this. According to Vienna Convention, I do not have the right to get such a high dose of X-ray. I would have been healthy. I do not need this disability payments. I'm paid only 2,000. I'm the disabled person of the first group, of the A group. I spent so many to fight these oncology diseases. Please adhere to the agenda, because otherwise we will stop briefing. If this will be like this. After speakers finish, we will give you time for Q&A session. One more person will speak now. Answering the question of this young guy, I would like to present Valentyna Retunska. My sister and our father built Prypiat from the start, from scratch, from first concrete block. He built and worked in Chernobyl. And he did it not to get some certificates. And this girl came to save Prypiat in 1986 at the age of 21. Maybe we should ask her. Please tell us, why did you decide to save Prypiat when you were so young? Answering the question why, for me this is really painful topic, I would like to say that this is because we forgot who are residents of Prypiat. We forgot that this is their motherland. Many people who were born there, they have the status that they were born there, but people want to erase this place and history about it. Why do we protect it? We would like to say that memory does not die. Notwithstanding this vandalism, memory won't die. Each of us, we who lived there, we went to kindergartens, we went to school, we got married, we gave birth to our own children. This is our fatherland, and please be respectful to those people who were in the city, to those who started fighting this nuclear. On the poster in Prypiat, there was a sign, and it said that nuclear should be peaceful. It should not be used by military. For us, for people from Prypiat, this nuclear became our enemy. Our family lost our father, mother, because of this Chernobyl disaster. Why did I come to protect Prypiat? I built it when I was really young. Starting 16, I worked in Prypiat. I worked at the laboratory of control of reliability. And for me, it was difficult. I could not understand why this tragedy happened. No one knew anything. There were no investigations of this tragedy. And I thought maybe I did something wrong, and that's why this disaster happened. We were evacuated to Netyshin in Khmelnytsky Oblast, and I was among people whom I did not know. And then I went to Prypiat. They were my neighbors. I felt comfortable. I didn't think about radiation and consequences. Even now, I do not think about it. I see it differently. I see it differently. You should fight for what you have, and you should preserve what you have. And we are grateful to the president that there is a law in accordance with which Prypiat city is open for excursions. First, I would like to say, for the world community, Prypiat city should remind about the consequences of inappropriate use of nuclear. People should come and see the results of this one small mistake or one conviction that something in the mode can be violated, or if someone wants to use some new methods. Everything should be done to the benefit of people. They should go and see everything there. And one more important thing for me, we should preserve it. We should not ruin it. It ruins itself. For 33 years it has been ruining. And we believe that a museum of Prypiat should be created, and Prypiat should have a status like this. We do not have funds, but we have excursions, and they are not for free. Why can't we create this fund for museum? And in this way, we may get finances to support those territories that are there and borders to the territory. You mean you may do it through due to the money of tour operators, right? I would like to bring one example. There is a monument in Chernobyl created by firefighters near firefighting station, and this monument is called "To Those Who Saved the World." This is a monument to firefighters and liquidators, and this monument is really in a bad condition. This is an amateur monument. The state does not protect it. No money allocated for repair works of this monument. And all tour operators, Chernobyl's tourism didn't appear in 2019. It has been in operation for tons of years, and those who deal with tourism, they take photos near this monument, and for half a year money is collected on the request of firefighters because this monument cannot survive even this winter without repair works. Unfortunately, many tour operators, they promised something, but only one company participated and provided some sum of money. That is not enough even to start. So we have an example how money is allocated for monuments. If we are speaking about Prypiat, this will be bigger budgets, and the tour operators and Ukraine, they will not be able to support Prypiat. Maybe this should be done by UNESCO. So the address was initiated in 2006, and the signatures were collected not in electronic form but manually. These are letters from people from all around the world. We have 5,000 of people who understand that Prypiat is the World Heritage now, but it doesn't have a legal status, but this place should be protected. Unfortunately, when we held this collection of signatures in 2006, 2007, there was some passivity among our guys, and only 1% are from Prypiat, and all other people are from all around the globe. So some irreversible processes started, and we should go back to this issue, and we try to figure out what we want to see on the place of today's Prypiat, Prypiat 3.0 as a concept. This is, we may call it life after life. First, it was the place of enterprises in the exclusion zone. Our Lazurny Basin was used up to 1997. After this tragedy, I even swam there in this basin. Now this is the biggest attraction in the zone of exclusion. There are study tours. They do not mention this word tourism, but everyone understands that this is tourism. And tourism in 2000s and today's tourism, these are two different phenomena. For example, 50 or 100 people per year, and now we have 2,000 people a day. About 2,000. No? Do you know? About 1,500 a day. Also, Prypiat today, it has some enterprises. So now they have only water processing enterprise. There is an active enterprise in the territory of the city that does not exist. So the document was issued 10 years ago, and for 30 years the status does not exist. So the city is ruined. Metal is cut, radiators were brought out, loss of minimum infrastructure, everything is in really bad condition, and those things, other things were disassembled and brought out, and the inability to restore something. So there were military exercises by National Guard in 2017, in the result of which many objects that we wanted to include as UNESCO heritage, they were just shot. This is Prypiat Cafe, Palace of Culture, Polisia Hotel, and construction materials projects. I heard that Prypiat should be utilized, it should be disassembled, and we should use building materials for safe confinement. And this was considered in the past. Such issues were discussed, that Prypiat should be liquidated or to use it for energy projects, to dismantle everything and, for example, to put solar batteries there. But nevertheless, this city has historic value. This is nuclear city, and this is the single complex And one of the platforms of the liquidation of consequences of this tragedy. Also, this is laboratory polygon to study ecology process in the urban environment and the restoration of nature in urban area, and also to study materials. And Prypiat 3.0, this may be museum within the limits of the city, and this will allow to properly administer this city and to overcome this title of dead city. And also organization and legal, this is the status should be attributed, it should be provided to the city. Otherwise, this is just compile of these radioactive materials. Also, there should be conservation of complexes and important objects, and the digitalized material should be collected, and we have been doing this for many years, and also issues of infrastructure and administering. This is briefly about this. If you need more information, please, you may ask me. Alexander, can I specify if these are radioactive wastes, how can they have tours there? Maybe there is some dissonance in this. So tourists come from throughout the world. Where? Do you remember Pompeii? Volcanic ash there. Volcanic ash in Pompeii, and Prypiat, they have radioactive waste, and people all over the world, they understand this, but there is no legal status. But tourist from Australia, maybe he won't come to Prypiat if he knew that he goes to the dump of nuclear waste. I wouldn't say so. Maybe today's tourism, this is the main characteristic of this tourism. This is when people like to go to places where there is high level of radiation, and motivation may be different. So come here, look what happened, and do not allow this happen in the place where you live. But this sense now is lost. But we believe that we are valuable for our country, and we are going to search for the balance. So Prypiat should become a museum in which tourism is actively developing. When I came to Prypiat previously, so we cried a lot. And my concept of life is that Prypiat is alive until we remember it. But when you go there in November and you see these ruins, you cannot say that it is alive. When I hear tourists, and even when they are laughing, I'm going back to the times of my childhood when we lived there happily. And you said that 1,500 tourists a day, maybe if they pay about $100, maybe we may find money for restoration of the monument. Maybe something is wrong with my math. Can we oblige them to pay? Let's adhere to our agenda. If you are ready to go to a Q&A session, we will provide this opportunity. And one more question about entrance for former residents. Many people say that it is difficult to enter our city. They say that we should pay. For us, this is not for hype shooting. This is our motherland. We just want to go there and to go to those places we loved. And the people do not want to pay. I should not pay for entrance because this is my place, and maybe this agency that manages the exclusion zone, it should comment what are the basis for entrance to this Prypiat if you were the resident of the city. Cities enterprise representative, the enterprise that deals with organization of the visits to the zone. There are no problems with those people who suffered in the result of this catastrophe. They are provided with access. Sorry, maybe I didn't say this correctly. They have certificates that they are those people who suffered from this tragedy. Do you want to get the answer or to clarify the terminology? Okay. We do not have problems with it. Please organize yourself, apply, and we are happy to see you free of charge. The only problem is when there is a big flow of visitors. Sometimes we do not have the opportunity to accompany you, but now we do not have many visitors. We are glad to see you. We have enough of those people who can accompany you to provide you your visit. 2 weeks ago, we had a big group from Cherkasy region. Unfortunately, despite the fact that everyone signs the document that they do not have problems with their health, one person went to Kiev with heart attack. So please be sure in your health before you come. And if you are healthy, you may come. We will be glad. So you should go, if you want to go to the nuclear power plant, you should ask them. And we are dealing with exclusion zone. The Tetyana checkpoint, you should go through there and visit to 10-kilometer zone to Prypiat and Chernobyl, 2 objects, meeting with those people who live there voluntarily, and we will always be glad to provide conditions for your visit. We are always glad to see you if you have proper certificates for the visit. So we may come only once a year, or for example, I would like to go there, and I may go there. So if you go there and we will be able to provide the company for you, there is no problem. If you organize groups of those who previously lived in Prypiat, we will be glad to see you as well. The only concern from us, is we should have someone who will accompany you. When 100 groups come and thousands of people come, it is difficult to find those people who will accompany you if there are a lot of visitors. From March until end of November. Closer to winter you may come. We may help you if there is a person who may accompany you and this person is free, then we will provide it for you. You should apply to get electronic ticket. You should send the application to the agency that manages this exclusion zone, that you are a former resident or you are a sufferer or you are liquidated and you want to visit this place. This address is made only not to have some abuses, some losses to the state. If everything is okay, we are glad to see you. Who is asking? On the side of state enterprise cities, we have all the contacts. Dear speakers and guests, we have 10 minutes until end of briefing. Please give the mic to the hall. Please introduce yourself and be concise. 1 second. I will add to what Kirill said. In practice, we had situations when people used documents of liquidators. They created groups and they brought 50 or 60 people in the bus. And if people cannot confirm their status with proper documents, then you should pay. The entrance will be not free of charge. And this is only for people who live there and members of their families. They have documents. You should have proper documents that confirm this is certificate of evacuation from Prypiat city. There should be a certificate that you were evacuated from Prypiat on the date. And then we will create a register, and this certificate, it will prevent those people who are not from Prypiat to come to this place. Olena Retunska, civil activist. I work in anti-corruption sector, and in my free time I study exclusion zone. I would like to specify there is a negative attitude to vandalism, but maybe corruption is more negative to vandalism. It is worth saying why this vandalism happens. This is some sort, this is protest, childish protest against this tourism in the exclusion zone. Now, tourism services are provided by 5 enterprises. All other enterprises, they are blocked from entering the market by artificial obstacles. And these enterprises are divided between the bodies of power and those who have free access, those residents who may go down, study, visit, they cannot implement their right. Me and my acquaintances, people who are not involved in negative consequences, they try to organize entrance not through tourist firms, and they got rejection or they faced some obstacles and were not able to implement this right. And the reason is that people do not want to pay $150, and because $50 goes to SBU or Ministry of Internal Affairs. And maybe this resolution that you are going to disseminate, you should include the a point concerning implementation in practice. This access for those who want to visit, it should be done not only through tourism organizations. So we want to have such an organization, and Prypiat residents should have it. And you know that we have only 200 grivnas to improve our rations, and this is too little, and we would like to bring these excursions to this place because we need this money. Those who were evacuated, they were put on their knees because they keep silence. They only bury their relatives and their children. This is the main. And mothers were so concerned that their children are dying. Who may tell us, these children, they are innocent, and each day you should understand we bury our children just like that. These are young guys, they do not go to hospital. They have oncology, they have cancer. We are trying to survive, and our grandchildren, they are not protected. They had certificates until 18, and now girls, they bring children to the world, and this girl has 20 X-rays, and one young woman who suffered from Chernobyl when she was 4. She bore a child, and it was really ill, and our girl had a stroke at 30, and now my daughter gave birth to a child, and our family continues to live. Tetyana. I'm Tetyana Lukina, PR director of Chernobyl. First of all, I would like to thank Olena, because due to you, I visited France, I lived in families. I thank you for your work. This was really big work. My sisters and me, we have never been in France, but we are really happy for you. I got education due to your work. Thank you. About creation of the museum and protection of Chernobyl objects, not only Prypiat. There is a big work with the Ministry of Culture and Borodiansky and the first deputy, Svetlana Fomina, and Kiev city administration. They also deal with these issues. I believe that this is incorrect to call the actions that are made by some people, some companies who work in the exclusion zone that vandalize your memory. This is not vandalism, because Prypiat, this is not city, people do not live there. No law states that you cannot ruin Prypiat. They only fine for those who ruin Prypiat according to the law. This is administrative offense because they crossed illegally the borders of the zone. Now the work is ongoing in several areas, and I would like you to join these areas of work. First, Kiev Oblast, the state administration holds a contest to inventarize some objects that can be in the register of national memory objects. In the territory of the Chernobyl zone, we may create museums and to get state money to inventarize and to keep some objects of Chernobyl area in good state. And we hope that Association of Tourism Operation in Chernobyl, a lot has been done during last half year, and this work will be completed in 2020 in the middle of the year. After this, we have 17 objects in the zone, including architectural ensemble of Prypiat. It should be included to the national register. And now they prepare to include some objects of Chernobyl zone, about 10 of objects, to include them to the list of UNESCO heritage. This is very difficult work. No tour operator of Ukraine, France, or US, or even altogether, they won't be able to manage it. You know about Inkerman Fortress and how it was introduced to UNESCO. It took several years and millions of hryvnias for inventory and preparation of documentation. You cannot compare. We cannot even compare this fortress with your city and the norms that should be implemented for the specialists who carry out this operation. So we understand that a lot of money is needed and time is needed, but now there is a will of the Ministry of Culture of Ukraine and the governor of state administration, and there is consolidation of tour operators who bring people to the Chernobyl area. If we together get united, we have a lot of work. This is not about press briefing or marathon. We should write down plans of actions. We should submit it to Ukrainian Cultural Center at the Ministry of Culture. Also, we may apply to and we should submit documents, and we should find specialists who will do it free of charge. In order to get the money, from UNESCO, in order to preserve it as it is now, this architectural ensemble, to preserve it for future generations. Also, we should change legislation. Please, I ask you to be initiators in this process. Now there is order of the President 512 concerning some issues of exclusion zone of Chernobyl. Legislation should be changed in such a way that people who do not behave properly in this area, I do not think that they will feel shame. They should be criminally persecuted, not administratively, for what they do in Prypiat. And they videotape their actions. So we hold this event in order to consolidate Prypiat residents, and we thank Ukraine Crisis Media Center for this opportunity. Please, the last comment, and we will end our press briefing. Good afternoon. Shiryaev Gennady Alexandrovich, head of All Ukrainian Union of Disabled People from Chernobyl 1967. I'm from Prypiat. For me, this is vandalism, what is going on. They are just stupid people if they are so brave. I will tell them how they can end this, cover of Chernobyl in order that for them not to return. And Chernobyl 86 came up with the initiative. We all suffered from peaceful nuclear. No one rejects this idea. We have 14 nuclear blocks, million kilowatt per hour. Let's ask for 1 kopeck from each kilowatt, and this money will be enough for all liquidators and for your project. About your project, address Korolievska in Chernobyl Museum. She will gladly help you. We spoke with her about it, and 5 or 6 years, I bring groups, not me, but Korolievskaya allocates some buses, and we bring people. So only 20 people from Prypiat go there. Others from other cities, they are gladly going there. I may provide my telephone number. We go there on the 26th of April. You may join us. And there are tables and 100 grams if you want to go. To attend night service at church, we may go there and to have this visit. Thank you. When I organized this briefing, I wrote everything in announcements and press briefing that no party, no political force is standing behind our movement. Sorry, but you mentioned your name many times. We have a state structure that deals with that issue, nothing personal. This is the right that is provided by the state, and I'm ready to thank our state. We think that we have a moment and that we may speak about this topic, and we hope that we will succeed in our initiatives due to our new president. I do not want to get involved with some politicians. There are some funds, grants that support such social issues. Yeah, I'm ready to address, to apply, to win grants. and to create working places from residents for residents of Prypiat. But I do not want to involve in politics because politics is toxic. Several words from me. Our committee at the Supreme Council, the decision was taken that on the 25th of March there will be parliamentary hearings concerning the problems of exclusion zone, Prypiat city issues. Please listen to this carefully. And these questions we considered today, this should be brought to all Ukrainian discussion. To get 3 minutes at the Verkhovna Rada and to speak about the situation, how we see, how we remember our past, and how we see our future. If you want to see how happy we were, if you want to see the tragedy, if you want to see the moment of survival, our organization prepared 3 wonderful 2-side banners. And we will put them on the 26th of April near our memorial. And Tetyana knows it. It is in Troyeshchina region. And all Ukraine knows about this monument. And there is a territory of more than 3 hectares. And this is about the first city that died. It was born in 1970 and it died in 1986. And also there is a cemetery in Moscow, and our friends were buried there, and the memorial on Mir Avenue. And you know that this year at 8:30, a basket was thrown to the monument, and someone went away incognito. So we have something to discuss. And on the 25th of March, we should report who we are, what we do, and how we see our future. Thank you. Unfortunately, we do not have time. I believe that you may put your questions off records. We end our broadcasting, and we wish everyone to have a nice